with the first pick in the NFL draft. The Carolina Panthers select who, Johnny?
Mr. Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. And I think they're going to draft Will Anderson, Jr., edge from Bama.
They're telling everyone, we love Will Levis. And everyone thinks they're going to now take Will Levis over C.J. Stroud, and I call bullshit, Johnny.
If C.J. Stroud is not taken, you cannot pick a Will Levis. I don't care about the stupid test and all the stories that came out about this. C.J. Stroud's intangibles, his work ethic, his ability has been well documented. Anthony Richardson.
Oh, really?
Anthony Richardson over Will Levis. Oh.
The Falcons are going to take our boy, Bijan Robinson.
Autumn is approaching, and that can only mean one thing: fantasy football. Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-a-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome back, folks, to the island.
Sorry, Chuck, I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of grooving. I can only do one arm. My shoulder and neck are still killing me on the other side. I'm old, everybody.
So am I, Johnny. So am I. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island, everyone. We're back. We do this every week. Well, almost every week, John.
Almost every week.
We took a week off. So what? Sue us. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Guess what? Even we need a break every now and then.
Life happens. We had to take care of some business. But,
sure did.
Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Johnny Ballgame.
What is up, my Sir Fantasy Reaper, Charles Fantasy Reaper Bishop?
What is going on, John? How you doing? I noticed you're clean shaven today. The Grizzly Adams look is gone forever.
Grizzly Adams is gone. I don't know, forever. I might come back to it someday. It was for a part in a musical that I did, which was a lot of fun, but I'm glad it's over. And as soon as it was done, G shaved, all gone. Good night now. A little bit of fuzz left. I'll leave a little something there. You know what I mean?
Something for the ladies, something for the ladies.
A little something for the image. A little says I don't care, but I really do. You know what I mean?
A little Cortland Sutton?
A little Sutton. Staying with them. Broncos.
All right, so can I call you Johnny Shaved Balls Game?
I don't know that I want to go by Johnny Shaved Balls Game. You know what I mean? I feel like that sends the wrong message that you have to shave your balls to be cool. And that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying you don't need to do it to be cool.
Yeah, and I don't think our viewers actually want to know, John, if you shave that region, the nether region.
No, not saying.
All right.
I'm not saying I do, but maybe I do, and maybe I do.
Maybe. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is Fantasy Sports Island. It got weird really quick. Let's straighten things up a little bit. We are on Rumble. We are on YouTube. Look for us, Fantasy Sports Island, in the search engine. You shall find us. We are the inventors of PPR. So if you're playing in PPR, America, tell them, Johnny.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And we all each have more than 20 years. Actually, I think it's 25 years experience in fantasy football, where we've been commissioners. We've been playing fantasy football. We've done it all. And that is why we are here, to bring our knowledge to you folks to help you win your fantasy football league. How's that sound, Johnny?
It sounds good. I mean, we actually sound way smarter than we are. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at our resumes, fantastic.
It's hard to put together an hour show and talk about all kinds of stuff for 60 minutes straight, John. So
you would think it would be hard, but man, you and I can just talk football for like ever. So
that's true.
Let's do this.
Are we articulate when we do it? Maybe not. But if you appreciate what we give you, all you got to do, it's free. All you got to do is hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and there you go. Every week, here we are for free.
Yes, sir.
It's free knowledge for fantasy football. You can't go wrong, right?
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. And by the way, it's not just free knowledge. It's free good knowledge. Yeah. Chuck, how many times have you won a league?
Johnny, I can't count. It's too many.
Seriously. I mean, we're both, like, if you combine us, we've had a bunch of titles between the two of us, right? Like,
it's a massive amount. And in the last, I don't know,
it's an
6
embarrassment
years.
Of riches.
In the last 6 years, it's pretty much alternating between you and I. We're in the money every freaking year.
Yeah.
It's not gambling, folks. When you put the advantage to your, I mean, if you find an advantage to beat the house, that's what we're trying to do here for you, is give you that slight advantage, beat your teammates, and win that league constantly, like over and over again. And it's not luck anymore, folks. It's skill.
Yeah. When we've done it multiple times in different ways with different kinds of teams, I'm telling you, you should listen to some of the things that we say.
Just some.
We're not giving ourselves a pat on the back. We're just trying to tell you we've got credentials. You know what I'm saying? We're going to help. Just
bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You can catch John on Twitter at JohnIsbell85.
At me.
Adam, he dares you. I am the Fantasy Reaper, Chuck Bishop. You can at me at Fantasy Reaper. The Fantasy Reaper. That's it. Pretty simple.
Reap.
All right. We are doing a good show tonight. We're going to do our news and notes, of course, John. But then we're going to recap the draft, the NFL draft that happened 2 weeks ago. Nice. And what we're going to do is break it down and do like the fantasy fallout. Like, who are the winners and losers from who they drafted in the draft? Like, if, for instance, if a running back was drafted to a certain team, is now the incumbent running back screwed? Are they losers now? Well, yeah, We're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. So, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, first bit of news, nothing major. Free agent Dan Arnold, tight end. He was on the Jaguars. He's now agreed to terms on a 1-year contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. So when Goddard gets hurt, they will have a competent tight end to back him up. And Dan Arnold, I mean, is this really something to worry about, John, you're not going to draft Dan Arnold, right?
No. Even if Goddard goes down, I'm not picking up Dan Arnold either. He's a good blocking tight end.
And that is why they got him. That'll free up Goddard to roam the field for passes. Yep, got him. All right. Chicago Bears running back Khalil Herbert will start the offseason at the top of the depth chart for the Chicago Bears.
Nice.
But it is a competition throughout the offseason, says Bears assistant coach, David Walker. So Herbert is the incumbent, but the Bears have plenty of other backs that could actually work their way into the rotation. You're talking, they have Deontay Foreman. They drafted a man by the name of Rasheed Johnson. They also have Travis Homer, who could be a third down back. John, what do you see playing out in this backfield?
I feel like this is the dreaded running back by committee. Now, here's the thing. Herbert is actually really super talented. Like, if they never would have got Deontay, I would have thought, okay, they're probably going to use Herbert as the, 3-down guy with maybe Homer coming in as a third down back every now and then. But no, this is weird to me. It feels like Herbert's going to be the guy between the, 20s. Then they're going to bring Foreman in to be the goal line guy. And on third down, they're going to bring in Homer or the new kid, the draft guy. This seems like a mess to me.
Yeah, I'm thinking they want to keep the amount of carries that Herbert did last year about the same this year. They don't want him to be the feature back. They want him to be sprinkled in because he's more effective that way. So I think Rasheed Johnson is gonna be the better running back between him and
Deontay Foreman.
Deontay Foreman, yes. I actually think Rasheed Johnson is the better running back, but we'll see.
Here's the thing about Deontay Foreman: he's super consistent. You know what I mean? He's going to give you that hard running. He's not going to lose the ball. He can catch a few out of the backfield, so he's not completely inept at that. It's just he just works his way into playing and steals share. He's the new fantasy rooster, Chuck.
Oh. Do we need to play the rooster sound, Johnny?
Here goes the rooster.
Deontay Foreman, huh? All right. I'm going to think about that, John. But as far as Rashawn Johnson goes, I mean, if it wasn't for a little fella named Bijan, he might have been the top running back in his class.
This guy could end up being a steal. Could be a complete steal. I'm really excited about that guy.
All right, we'll see what happens.
But there's just too many mouths to feed right now.
Yeah, it's hard to choose right now for sure. Kansas City Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco had 2 surgeries this offseason, one on his hand, which he had a broken hand, and he had a torn labrum in his shoulder, so he had that repaired. He should be ready for the preseason, so right now there's no timetable for his return, but they don't think it's going to be a problem when he starts this year. Now, what do we think shakes out in that backfield? Because they did re-sign everyone, brought him back, so what are we thinking here? Is it Isaiah Pacheco? Is he going to?
I think it's Pacheco's job to lose. Yeah, I think it's Pacheco's job to lose. Clyde Edwards, hell no, he's just never quite done what they thought he was going to do. So I'm not into him. I think Pacheco showed enough, especially towards the end of the year and in the playoffs. I think he's going to do well. I like him.
Yeah. And they declined Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's option, his rookie option. So this will be his final year with the Chiefs.
Yep.
Okay. Detroit Lions third-round draft choice, quarterback Hendon Hooker, is expected to be treated as a redshirt quarterback this year. They don't envision that he's going to play this year. He's going to take the whole year off as he continues to recover from the torn anterior cruciate ligament that he tore in 2022. And Dan Campbell has made it pretty clear that he has no intention of playing him this year. Now, if Jared Goff comes out with the gate and he sucks, or if Jared Goff gets hurt, I think his tune could change. But the plan, I think, is to just let him watch for a year and learn.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks he's going to be healed up anyway, right? I mean, he got hurt pretty late in the season in college football. I think this is brilliant by Dan Campbell. Let's take all the pressure off the kid. Let's let Goff know it's his for the year. Goff was playing fine, towards the end of last year. I think this is really smart of Dan Campbell.
Okay. I agree. Jared Goff was fantastic last year. I mean, he's exactly what they need. He does exactly what they need him to do. So what are they rushing out, Hendon?
No reason. Yeah.
No reason. Yep. All right. Free agent tight end Tyler Kroft of the 49ers has now signed a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. The only reason this is relevant is because the Dolphins let Gesicki go, and so there was a gap there at their tight end position. Yeah. I think Tyler Kroft could be a decent tight end there. I'm not sure they're looking to use the tight end position as much as other teams.
No, I mean, if they did, they would have kept Gesicki, who's actually a really good receiver for a tight end. So Tyler Kroft gives them more of a blocking option, and maybe will bolster their running game. So,
okay. All right. Free agent tight end Foster Moreau, who earlier was going to sign with the New Orleans Saints, but they did some tests and found out that he had been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay, so they put that deal on the back burner, and now they have officially signed the deal because he is doing well. He's had treatment. He's back. He said he's going to play this year. So this is a fantastic story. But for fantasy purposes, does Foster Moreau have any value in Dynasty League, regular redraft league for you?
A little bit, right? I mean, Carr knows him. He's going to a Saints team that throws to the tight end on occasion. They didn't really sign any new wide receivers, so it's not like their wide receiver room got that much bigger. So I think there's some share to go there. I'm going to keep an eye on him. I don't think I'm going to draft him, but I'm certainly going to keep him at the top of my waiver wire if I need a tight end.
Yeah, Foster Moreau is more than capable of producing, especially if your boy Johnson goes down with injury.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they have to play twice in London next year, John, in 2023. The first time that has happened for any NFL team. One will be their away game and one will be their home game. I still don't think that's fair. That's a lot of
they want that, though. That's their home away from home. I mean,
it really is.
Their owner, Shad Khan, has said that London is our home away from home. They're the ones. My guess is they lobbied for it.
That's interesting because there's a lot of wear and tear when you travel overseas and back, and you do it twice in one season. I feel like that's a disadvantage.
They're not going to go back and forth, though. They're just going to stay out there. It's 2 weeks in a row.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're going to fly out. They're going to play one game in one part of London. The next week, same city. They're still going to play in England in a different stadium. But yeah, that I actually think it was really smart because now they're going to be rested, especially for that second game, and then go, hit the ground running on that second game.
So it is kind of an advantage in the second game because then whoever they're playing has to travel out.
Yes.
They're the ones to be tired. All right.
Yes.
That makes sense. Also, the Super Bowl champion Chiefs are in a marquee matchup with the Miami Dolphins overseas for one of the games announced by the league. So that ought to be interesting as well.
Yeah. Don't you think it's weird to send all of our stars over there? Like if you look at the games, there's 5 games this year, so there's 10 teams. 9 of them are AFC, 1 NFC. Now, AFC is clearly the stronger division. We've got more stars, so we're sending people like Mahomes, Tua. I think the Bills play over there, right? Don't they? Like Jason. So we're sending Josh Allen over there. We're sending the best and brightest over to England. But here's the deal: we're not letting their home fans see them. So that's a game they don't get to see in many instances. So it's a little bit of a bummer. But I guess if you're trying to crank up the love in England, you might as well send the best and the brightest.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do our one and only segment today. We're going to do our NFL Draft Fantasy Fallout segment right now. And John,
now,
all we're going to do is go through each round of the draft, find the guys that are fantasy relevant, and talk about them and what is the fantasy fallout for their team, for the players around them, etc. Whatever you feel like talking about, let's do that. And we'll start with the first pick overall by the Carolina Panthers. They took Bryce Young as expected. So the Panthers, their weaponry around him is Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, and the Panthers later in the second round drafted Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss to help out with Bryce Young. So fantasy-wise, what are we thinking about Bryce Young, John? What's your take? Where do you think he goes? Where do you think he falls in the rankings when the season is all said and done?
So I think he'll come out of the chute as the starter, right? I mean, Carolina doesn't really have anybody. That typically doesn't bode well for young quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. First, there's a reason Carolina was the first. I mean, I know they traded up. They were still pretty low in the picking anyway. I don't like the weapons that much there. I'm off of Bryce Young for this. I want to see, like, even if I'm in a rookie keeper league, then I will draft him, right? Because I want to make sure I've got him on a team because he will be eventually really good. If I'm in a redraft league, I probably leave him on the bench. I don't think he's worth a roster spot this year.
You're thinking he's going to be in the lower half of the quarterbacks in the NFL, like in the 20s, maybe
for
as
sure.
far as ranking. Okay.
Yes.
So not draftable.
What do you think?
I think I'm gonna guess that he finishes as a quarterback 2 this year because he is very crafty. He's accurate. He moves in the pocket, and I just think they might be playing from behind a lot, and he'll pass a lot. So the stats will be there. In Dynasty League, though, I want him number 1 overall, the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. In Dynasty Leagues, I think he's right, especially if it's a rookie Dynasty League where you're drafting rookies. I would draft him first, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, of the quarterbacks first.
Of the quarterbacks, yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Texans. All freaking week, what did we hear? They were going to take Levis. Will Levis. And what did we say, John? What did we say? We said, what a bunch of bullshit.
Will Levis isn't going number 2.
No, we said it's going to be C.J. Stroud. We were right. It was C.J. Stroud. And then they traded up and got the 3rd overall pick as well. They got Will Anderson Jr. So that was a very smart move, very slick. They got their quarterback of the future. They got their edge rusher. Excellent move. Now, let's talk about their weapons for Stroud. They also drafted Nathaniel Dell out of Houston in the 3rd round to add to the wide receiver core, but their wide receiver core is very weak. We're talking Robert Woods, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown. John, I know you like Stroud.
I like Stroud a lot, and I think I'm gonna take a hot take here. Stroud at the end of his career will have way better numbers than Bryce Young. I'm just saying it. I'm going to throw it out there.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you.
Yeah. No, I know you're going to pull an Office Space on me. And this is not just because I think it's an Ohio State person. I think C.J. Stroud was a gifted quarterback. And I mean that. He's smart. And I know his testing was whatever, but that guy can read defenses. He might not know how to do physics or something like that, but the guy can read defenses, and he's phenomenal. He's got some of the best touch I've ever seen on a ball.
I agree.
Hits people in stride. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was in Houston, I actually think he would be a viable fantasy quarterback this year.
Now, in redraft
Having
leagues.
said that,
yes, go ahead.
in redraft leagues, I'm not touching this guy.
Gotcha.
In dynasty leagues, I'm taking this guy.
So where are you taking him? You're taking him behind Bryce Young? Are you taking him ahead of Richardson?
I'm definitely ahead of Richardson, and I might take him behind Bryce Young. Honestly, I could flip a coin for Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and I'd be okay either way.
Okay. All right.
But I am off of the Richardson train. I'm not in the same camp as other people on Richardson.
So at the 4th pick, the Indianapolis Colts did select Anthony Richardson from Florida. They also added Josh Downs from North Carolina, nice wide receiver in the 3rd round. They already have Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and they picked up Isaiah McKenzie from the Bills as a slot receiver. So I actually
got a pretty good running back too.
They have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I just think Richardson has better weapons than Stroud. And
For
the
sure.
talent is there. And here's what I'm saying. In Dynasty, I would take Richardson second behind Bryce Young. And the reason why is just because he's going to rush for a lot of yards, John. A lot of yards. And in fantasy, we know that's like a cheat code. You get those extra yards and touchdowns on the ground, and it pays off in fantasy. So that is why I would take him.
Yeah. My worry is they're not going to play him at first. He's got 13 games under his belt. And so my guess is they're going to let, Gene Shorts guy, who am I talking? You know who I'm talking about. The guy who's the quarterback.
Gardner Minshew?
The Minshew Mania, and his jean shorts, his jorts. He's probably going to start most of the season. So that's why I'm off of the Anthony Richardson thing. I don't think he's got enough experience, and he feels a lot like a person who's going to have done really well at the combine and not done really well in the regular season.
And you know what? That could definitely be the case. I see a world where he sits most of the year. I also see a world where they throw him out there week 1 and just let him roll.
I mean, you never know.
We don't know.
Yeah. I will say he's in a great situation, right? Not only does he have good weapons, but he's got a quarterback who did some really nice things, or a quarterback coach, an offensive coordinator who did some really nice things with a fella named Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. So
yeah, exactly. So can he bring the exact same philosophy over here and make him successful as well? Of course. Yeah. All right. Number 8 in the draft. And I called this in the mock draft. I did the exact same thing. The Atlanta Falcons selected Bijan Robinson from Texas.
You did say that.
So he's competing, and I say this loosely, with Tyler Algier, Scordero Patterson, and Caleb Huntley. Caleb Huntley tore his Achilles, so he's kind of out of the picture. I don't know what kind of recovery he can make next season. Really, he's dealing with Tyler Algier, who had a pretty good year as a rookie last year.
Wasn't he almost 1,000-yard rusher?
Yeah, I believe he was a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah.
And the talent is so good. I think Bijan is going to be the guy getting 300, 350 touches this year.
Yeah.
And Tyler Algier will just be kind of a spell Bijan type guy.
Yeah, I don't think Cordero will be on the team.
I agree. I think they'll waive Cordero. And if they don't, he'll play very sparingly.
Yeah.
Maybe use him as like a gadget wide receiver on certain packages.
And a returner. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But folks, Bijan Robinson is your number 1 pick in Dynasty. Mistake. No mistake about it. Ahead of all the quarterbacks. You're taking Bijan without a doubt. And in redraft leagues, John, this is the test. This is the litmus test. Where are you taking Bijan Robinson in a redraft league?
I would consider taking him in the first round.
Okay.
That's how much I believe in him. Definitely second round.
So the markets are putting him in the first round. Like all the people that are drafting already, they're already taking him in the first round.
Yes.
I'm willing to take him third overall, Johnny. Third.
Wow. Yeah. I don't. Gosh, if I'm in the top 5, am I taking Bijan? He plays for the Falcons. That gives me pause, But
are you taking Justin Jefferson ahead of him?
God, the best receiver in the country, maybe? Yeah.
Are you taking Christian McCaffrey ahead of him? Knowing
Yes.
Okay, so we know for sure we're going to take McCaffrey ahead of him. Are you taking Jonathan Taylor ahead of him, coming off of that bad year?
Yes.
So there's 2 guys ahead of him, okay? And maybe Justin Jefferson?
Maybe.
Other than that,
4.
Is there anyone else you would consider taking ahead of Bijan?
I don't think so.
I don't either. I don't either.
Think so.
And see, I think I would take Bijan ahead of Jonathan Taylor. I think McCaffrey should be 1. He earned it. As long as he stays healthy, he'll probably be the best running back.
Yeah.
And then I would probably take Justin Jefferson.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would take Bijan.
It's the Atlanta Falcons part that bothers me. It's not Bijan. It's the Falcons part that bothers me.
Jonathan, who was the number 1 rushing team in football last year? The Atlanta Falcons. They ran the hell out of the ball, John.
Yeah, but that's because they couldn't throw.
Yeah, well, I don't know if much is going to change this year. Are you a believer in Ritter?
No.
Okay, then.
No. I'm a Ritter sitter. Hey-o!
Also, when you go out and pick a running back 8th overall, and he's one of the best prospects we've seen since Barry Sanders, why the hell wouldn't you just feed the monster?
Yeah. Wow, did you say since Barry Sanders?
That's what I'm saying.
This is making your crush on Bryce Hall look like a casual acquaintance. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Like you maybe passed Bryce Hall in the streets and went, hey, and then walked on. That's how much this is deeper than your love for Bryce Hall.
But having said all that, I am still a lover of Bryce Hall, and my goal is to come out of my redrafts with both Bijan and Bryce.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think they ever call him Bijan Mustard?
Of course they do, Johnny. Of course they do.
Good.
And by the way, if I do pull that off, I will change my team name to the Killer Bees.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. The Detroit Lions selected Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama in the first round. So they have David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, and Jamar Jefferson. So not a lot of explosion there in the backfield. They did trade Swift off to the Eagles. So I love Jahmyr Gibbs, Johnny.
Your guy. Gibbs is your guy.
Yeah,
I love him too. I think he's gonna take over. I think you can make a case to draft this guy in the top 10 as well.
You could, because a lot of people believe he's going to play the Alvin Kamara type role. He has that type of explosion. He's got a nose for the goal line. He catches a lot of balls. He's explosive.
Goff will check it down with the best of them. I mean,
I believe he is what they were hoping Swift was going to be.
Yeah. Which, by the way, don't count out Swift with the Eagles. Just throwing that out there. But we're not talking about that right now.
We're going to get to that in just a minute.
Yeah. I like me some Jahmyr.
All right. And redraft leagues. So you're thinking maybe in the first. I'm thinking second round. Yeah, that's probably the right range. In dynasty leagues, you're thinking about receivers after Bijan, but you might want to go Jahmyr at 2. Maybe a quarterback. I'm not sure how your league works, but I think Jahmyr should be the second back off the board, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the Seahawks at 20, well, first of all, the next 4 picks in the draft were all wide receivers, 20, 21, 22, 23. And the first was the Seahawks taking Jackson Smith and Jigba, your boy from Ohio State. So he's out there with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and really Noah Fant at tight end is really all he has to kind of deal with for targets.
What a great sitch.
Yeah. A lot of people are down on him because he's third on the depth chart. But I don't see it that way, John. because they're going to play 3 wide receiver sets, and he's going to be in that slot where he was at Ohio State, and he was really freaking good.
Yeah, I like him a lot this year. I think he unseats Tyler Lockett as the number 2 wide receiver there, and may give DK a run.
And in dynasty leagues, you really ought to consider taking him as the first overall, because once, like you said, once your boy Tyler Lockett moves on, because he is in his 30s now, who do you think's there to take over? I mean, who else do they have? It's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba, folks. And I mean, quarterback-wise, he's only there one more year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't know who's going to end up there, but I have a feeling it's going to be – they might draft a quarterback.
Could be somebody pretty good.
Could be a free agent, but I love Jackson Smith and Jigba's talent. And don't forget what the coaching staff said of all the wide receivers at Ohio State. We're talking Wilson, and we're talking the guy in New Orleans, Olave. Of all 3 of them, who was the best one? Jackson Smith and Jigba. Mm-hmm. All right.
Out to the show.
Okay. The Chargers took Quentin Johnson next at 21 overall from TCU. I actually thought that they were going to take Jordan Addison, but they did not. They went Quentin Johnson. Johnson is a deep threat with the speed to stretch the field, and he does a really good job of tracking the ball for great catches over the shoulder. He's got Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, Jalen Guyton, and Gerald Everett to kind of distribute the ball for Sherbert. So why do we like Quentin Johnson?
I love his hands. I love that he just finds the ball, no matter where he's at on the field. I think with Williams and Keenan, they both get hurt a shit ton. Mm-hmm. Not Jordan Palmer. What's his name?
Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer is he's a number 3. He had opportunity to take over last year a couple of times and never did. So to me, Quentin Johnson slides right into that number 3 for now. And then with all the injuries, I think he goes. I think he has big numbers this year.
I mean, it's not like Mike Williams never gets hurt, John. Mike Williams is hurt every year.
Every year.
And when he gets hurt, in comes Quentin Johnston, right?
Yep.
All right. Baltimore Ravens, trying to impress Lamar Jackson, went out and drafted Zay Flowers, who's one of my favorite receivers in this draft at 22. Tell me what you like about Zay Flowers.
The kid can run. The kid can go get the ball. I love this pick for Baltimore because not only did they sign Jackson, they must have said, by the way, you sign, we're going to get you a wide receiver in the first round. You know what I mean? That was an unbelievable couple of days for the Ravens. I think Zay Flowers is going to fit in beautifully. I think Rashad Bateman's going to get better. Mm-hmm. And then you have OBJ on there.
Mark Andrews.
The Ravens the backup tight end's really good. I can't remember.
Yeah, Likely. Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, Likely. So this seems loaded. Now, I'm a little bit nervous because I think Jackson's going to spread the ball around. So do I trust Flowers or Bateman or OBJ as a number 1 wide receiver? Sure don't. Mm-hmm. Maybe not even as a number 2, but I'll take a flyer on him as a 3rd wide receiver for sure. Right.
By the way, Lamar Jackson was so happy with this plethora of receivers that he just got that he said he wants to throw for 6,000 yards.
6,000 yards. Yes.
And what did I say, John? Do you remember? I said, why don't you try to throw for 3,200 first, you jerk off? Guy's never thrown for 3,200 yards, John. Yeah. We're talking about 6. What are we doing here?
He's going to double up his best numbers ever. He's going to double them up.
Sure he is. Sure. No problem.
He's going to run for 0 yards then because he's throwing every single
play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Next at 23 overall, this is for fantasy purposes the favorite landing spot for Jordan Addison. He goes to the Vikings. You put him next to Justin Jefferson. You got KJ Osborne there in the slot. You got TJ Hawkinson at tight end. I love this pick by the Vikings. I think they got a steal in Jordan Addison.
I do too. That kid's got speed. I love, dare I say that Cousins is actually intriguing to me this year.
Yeah, he's got weapons. He really does.
Got weapons. And he's on a contract year. So.
Again. Yeah. I mean, I could just see Jordan Addison in the next 10 years being not quite as good as Justin Jefferson, but I feel like this is like Arizona back in the day when they had Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden on the other side. Remember that?
Yeah,
and they both had 1,000 yards every year,
yes.
and Kurt Warner just had a field day. I feel like this is what it's setting up to be in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Two really outstanding receivers.
I love, like you said, I love the pick for them. I love that they got aggressive and they didn't wait to see if KJ Osborne was going to work. You know, like, it's like, yeah, we think he could be really good. Why not? Let's just get another one just in case. Let's go ahead and get somebody else really super good. Love it.
All right, to close out the first round at the 25th overall pick, the Bills traded up to get tight end Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. What are your thoughts on this move?
Does this signal the end of the Dawson Knox era? Like, is it weird that they traded up to go get a tight end when they've got a fairly young tight end? It means to me they're probably going to get rid of Dawson Knox. And if not, maybe they're going to try to do some two tight end sets so that maybe they could try to run a little bit more, protect Josh a little bit more. But I like Dalton Kincaid a lot. Like, that guy's got skill. I can get down the field, he can get down the seam.
I'm going to put it this way. Dalton Kincaid is the closest thing to like baby Gronk that we've seen in a while. He's got great hands. He's a great route runner, pass catcher, etc. So I think the Bills are a little disappointed in Dawson Knox passing abilities and getting open down the field. And he's actually a really good blocker. So I believe this sets up Dawson Knox to do a little bit more blocking, and it opens up the field for another big wide receiver for Josh Allen, which he needs. Because let's face it, Diggs ain't big. Gabe Davis ain't big. He needs a big receiver, and that's kind of what this guy is. He's going to be like a slot receiver, John.
Yeah, I could see that. I also think Knox is hurt a lot. So, I mean, it's insurance. If nothing else, it's just insurance. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Let's move on to round 2, John. And our first shot.
Rondo dos.
When we called this, I mean, we knew Will Levis was going to fall because we didn't believe in all the hype. And he fell all the way to the second round. I'm a little surprised he fell that far, but I'm actually not surprised that he ended up on the Tennessee Titans, John.
I'm not surprised by that either. I kind of thought that was going to happen in the first round. So I think Tennessee does a nice job of going and getting a quarterback that they can mold. They don't need him to be ready this year. They've still got Tannehill there. Give him a year behind him, or at least 6 months. Mm-hmm. It is a little weird because they drafted a quarterback last year with all that talent, which makes you go, yeah, he's probably not. That guy's probably not going to be on the team after a while.
So Tannehill, if he struggles, or if the team struggles, they'll probably go to Levis pretty early in the season and see what they got. I mean, this guy, they compare him to Josh Allen. He can run the ball. He's got a cannon. He's just wildly inaccurate and inconsistent. So got to tame him a little bit. All right. What do we think about the Lions replacing Hawkinson at tight end with Sam LaPorta at 34 overall in the second round? Do you like this guy?
I like this guy. The guy, he produced at Iowa. Iowa seems to put out these good tight ends. He's a good blocker, but he's a really good seam runner. I think Detroit, I really like Detroit's draft. I like Detroit's draft a lot.
A lot of people said Detroit kind of reached and made some mistakes. I mean, they dumped Swift for basically nothing, and then they replaced him with another running back. But I like what they did. They got more explosive. I mean, they got guys everywhere with speed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
However, at the wide receiver position, I feel like they're a little bit weak. They let a couple DJ Charks gone.
Now because what's-his-face just got
Jamison Williams got suspended. So weeks. I like Amon St. Brown, of course. Who doesn't? But, I mean, this guy Sam LaPorta could be sneaky good.
Yeah. Yeah. And he doesn't have any competition, right? I mean, he's going to be number one tight end day one. So
Day one.
Yeah.
All right. The tight end that I thought was going to go first in the draft didn't, but Michael Mayer.
In the third. Yeah.
He was third off the board. He goes to the Raiders, Notre Dame. So he replaces, Waller.
Waller. I hardly know her.
Yeah. What do we think of the fit for Michael Mayer?
I like it there. Jimmy G is going to hit him. Jimmy G's used to throwing to tight ends. Jimmy G likes tight ends. He liked Kittle. He liked Gronk. He's used to working with good tight ends. I just hope Michael Mayer decides not to kill people, like in the movies. So, different Michael Mayer? My bad.
It's actually Michael Mayer, so thank God for that.
I'm being told that that's a different Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Michael Mayer.
Yep.
I think that's a great fit. I love it.
All right, we've already discussed Jonathan Mingo in the second round going to the Panthers. Do you have any thoughts on Mingo real quick?
I like it. I like Mingo. I think he's raw, but I think he's got talent. So there's some people who call Mingo the best receiver in the draft. So,
and those are the same people that are wrong.
Yeah.
All right, Luke Musgrave, another tight end. The Packers were in need of a tight end. They actually drafted 2. We're going to get to the first one here. Luke Musgrave, what do you think of the fit there?
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I just know that Green Bay needed one, and so they actually went out and got one. And what was odd is seeing Green Bay draft an offensive person in one of the first 2 rounds. So it was a bit of threw me a little bit.
The second tight end they got was in round 3. Tucker Kraft. Yeah. So they got back-to-back rounds. They got tight ends.
Which I think is really weird.
It is, unless they're going to run it like the Patriots did with Gronk and with Aaron Hernandez, little two tight end sets.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It is weird. They're trying to give Jordan Love as many targets. Young, and they're all young. All his targets are young. They're going to grow together. So I actually like what they did, to be honest.
Okay.
But if they would have taken a wide receiver there, John, that would have pissed Aaron Rodgers off.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
I would kind of liked it.
All right. Second round. What do you think about Jaden Reed? So the Packers had another second-round pick late in the second, and they did take a wide receiver. I forgot about that. Jaden Reed, Michigan State. What do we think?
Very productive at Michigan State. Kind of one of those guys that went a little bit under the radar, I thought. Mm-hmm. I think it was a reach to draft him in the second round. I thought he probably could have been had in the third round. But he also might be sneaky good. So,
okay. We'll see. He's coming up again. He's young. He's coming up with those other young receivers. So we'll see if they can grow together. All right. Let's talk about, at 52 overall, Zach Charbonnet, UCLA running back, goes to the Seahawks.
You just love to say Charbonnet.
This is a buzzkill, dude, for me. Like, you have Walker there. He looked so good last year. And then they bring in Charbonnet, and you're just thinking, what in the hell are we doing here? We're destroying both of the guys. We could have had 2 stud running backs at 2 different locations, and now they're on the same team?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought it was a buzzkill, too. I was like, are they trying to sell something about Walker? Like, what's wrong with my boy Walker? I think Charbonnet, they might use him like as the change of pace. Maybe they'll use him as third down back. Maybe they're just tired of their running backs getting injured and they're deciding we're going to have 2 really good ones.
I think they're going to do exactly what they did last year. They had Penny, they had Walker. Walker was out for the first few weeks with an injury. He had to work his way back. So in the meantime, Penny carried the load. And then when Walker got there, Penny got hurt and Walker carried the load. So like you said, they like having good running backs. And they can just, if one gets hurt, they don't miss a beat.
Yeah. Yep.
And when they're both healthy, I could see them being a 50-50 split, John. Because Zach Charbonnet catches passes. He
does. Which makes me go, ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, either now. Now when you've got 2 pretty good fantasy backs, you don't have a good fantasy back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't like it.
All right. The Chiefs got another wide receiver to add to their young collection. They have Rasheed Rice from SMU. I personally don't know a lot about Rasheed Rice. I didn't watch him play much. So did you get to see any of his tape?
Well, I'm an ardent SMU fan, big follower of the Mustangs. Are they called the Mustangs? I can't remember.
I don't even know.
Yeah. No, I don't know Rasheed Rice, but if he was good enough to be drafted in the second round, I feel like I might want to get to know him.
Yeah, why not, right? I just want to see what the scouts say about Rasheed Rice. Let me look up what they say about Rasheed Rice real quick, and here is what they have to say. They say he is an instinctive route runner who sheds zone looks and proved he's more than a possession slot receiver with an impressive senior season and a strong workout at the combine. So there you go. That's what Rasheed
Workout
Rice
warrior. Got it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on. Another tight end going to the Cowboys. Yes. So will they say Luke or will they say Scoon? Which one will it be?
Because it's just going to sound like ooh.
Yeah.
But I love this pick for Dallas. They got rid of Dalton Schultz. I don't know who they got now as their backup. This kid.
Hendershot, right?
Oh, yeah. I still like this kid better. This kid catches touchdowns. He makes himself so big in the end zone. Mm-hmm. I like this kid.
Okay.
Even though he's a Michigan guy, and I'm allergic to Michigan people.
I know this. All right. End of the second round, the Broncos added Marvin Mims from Oklahoma. I really like this pick for Russell Wilson. I think this helps him drastically.
I think about the wide receiver room now.
Yeah.
Sutton,
Patrick,
Judy, Patrick, and Marvin Mims. This is a good receiver room. I think the Broncos are a candidate for one of those turnaround teams.
Yeah, who's their coach, Johnny?
No, I know it's Peyton. So Russell Wilson's could be your NFL comeback player of the year.
He's in good hands.
Yeah, he really is.
They're getting Javonte back, Javonte Williams. Don't forget.
Yeah, we did skip somebody in the just before him was Brenton Strange, tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You're absolutely right. I apologize for that. What do you think?
We're sorry, Brenton.
What do you think of Brenton?
I saw him play because I watched Big Ten, so I did get to see him play. Again, another big, fast kid. This was the year of the tight end, apparently. So, yeah, he's pretty good. But Marvin Mims is better.
All right, let's move on to round 3. And the first thing we want to talk about here is with the Lions. They got their backup quarterback in Hendon Hooker. But as we've already spoken about, they're going to probably redshirt him. But long term, John, do you like Hendon Hooker and do you like the fit in Detroit?
I like the fit in Detroit and I like Hendon Hooker. So my answer is yes on both. I'm glad that they're sitting him for a year, but I think he's a really great, smart, athletic kid. I think this is a great pick for them.
I agree. Totally agree. Long term, this is smart. Let him sit behind Goff. Let him learn the system. And then if he's good, let him go. Unleash him.
Go, man, go.
And they like that he's older, by the way. They have mentioned that they like that because he's smart. He understands what they're trying to do. He's a wise veteran, kind of coming out of college. So it's kind of strange. All right. Nathaniel Dell out of Houston for the Texans. We've already kind of talked about him. They don't really – you know who I forgot about that Houston has? He's coming back. He didn't play last season. Do you remember the wide receiver they drafted last year?
Oh, yeah.
Minchie. Yeah. So I'm curious. Maybe Minchie and Nathaniel Dell could actually be really good for Stroud.
They're going to grow with him. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to learn together. So
I forgot about Minchie.
And then think about it. They got Pierce as a running back. That's a young core. We could be speaking about them in a couple of years like Dallas when they drafted everybody all within 2 years time frame.
Good call.
Just throwing it out there.
All right. Here's a guy.
By the way, the likelihood of that happening is probably not high. But I'm just saying we could be talking about
they have a new regime. They have a bunch of young, talented players. They have a good quarterback. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Here's the guy I like at running back very quietly. Kendre Miller was drafted by the Saints. Everyone's kind of like, whatever. That's not what I think. I think, first of all, Alvin Kamara, we don't know how long he's going to be suspended.
AK Jr.?
Alvin Kamara is also getting older. He is slowed down. He's not the same running back. And who else do the Saints have to run that rock? Kendre Miller. The Saints have a good offensive line. This guy is a bowling ball, Johnny. He's hard to tackle. He runs north and south. Kind of reminds me of like maybe a poor man's your boy in Tennessee.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
It's a big dude, runs well. They do have Williams there, right, from Detroit.
They
Jamal
do.
Williams. So they do have him, and he is a good goal line back, obviously, breaking Barry Sanders' touchdown record last year. But to your point, this is the Alvin Kamara of the future. Done.
All right. How about Jalen Hyatt going to the Giants from Tennessee?
I'm going to tell you this right now. The Giants got a steal here. Jalen Hyatt is going to be their number one wide receiver, probably to begin with. I'm just calling it now.
Okay. And what do you like about his skill set?
Everything. He's a complete receiver. He can run the route tree. He's fast. More importantly, he's quick out of his break. He's the reason Hendon Hooker looked so good. I mean, Hendon Hooker is also a pretty good quarterback, but he's one of the reasons because Hendon Hooker hit that guy a lot.
He did. And you know who else he hit a lot?
The next guy that was drafted?
Cedric Tillman, who went to the Browns. A couple of good wide receivers there, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, so think about that. Hooker, Hyatt, and Tillman all went within the first 11 picks of the third round. So
it was a Tennessee kind of round.
It was a banner year for Tennessee. And well-deserved, by the way. I think Ced, Tillman, and Jalen Hyatt, both of them are really fantastic wide receivers, and I think both teams got better.
I agree, and I really like Deshaun Watson's weaponry now in Cleveland. Yeah. He's got a lot to work with.
I don't like his weapons as much, but I definitely like his weapons.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Josh Downs, North Carolina, goes to the Colts. All right. Colts, so for Josh Richardson, he gets a weapon, and Josh Downs. Did you get to see any of Josh Downs' videos? Because I've seen him play. To me, he's not that impressive, John.
I haven't seen him. Yeah, I'm kind of down on Downs. I don't know him.
You're down on Downs?
I'm down on Downs. I got nothing. No.
Yeah.
Ooh, the next one, though, I like a lot.
Well, we're not there yet. We got to talk about Josh Downs just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to. If you don't like Josh Downs, we can move on. It's not a problem.
I mean, he's a Colts guy, but
I just don't think he's got this. He doesn't have the speed and the separation ability to be a difference maker. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I will say he was a lot better the year before when Sam Howell was there.
Sam Howell.
So he had no quarterback to throw to him this year. But yeah.
Tell me about the next guy, John. You already mentioned
Tyjae Spears.
And why do you like him, John?
He gives you a change of pace, right? So you've got Derek. He was the king. He's still the king. I mean, the guy was still number 2 running back last year, something like that in fantasy. But Tyjae Spears gives you a legit change of pace back and a legit heir apparent.
I agree.
Like that guy could be an everyday back.
This is Derrick Henry's last year, so long term, this is a beautiful dynasty pick. So
really smart, yeah.
Right. And here's another guy that I really like. He's super explosive. It's the perfect fit.
Yeah, you do.
I just don't know if he has the knee, not the need, but the knee to sustain long-term career, and that is Devon Achane from Texas A&M. Super fast, small guy, hard to tackle. Catches passes, exactly what Miami needed. Explosion
perfect
in the backfield.
For their offense. Yeah.
But they say he has no ACL, John.
Well, that sucks.
I mean, if this is another Todd Gurley situation, you could get 2-3 years out of him, but long term, ooh.
Well, then run the hell out of him for a couple of years.
Exactly. Let him. Yeah. You just run him till the wheels fall off, Johnny.
Literally.
All right, next is Tank Bigsby out of Auburn. He went to the Jags. That scares me a little bit.
Oh, I didn't like this pick. Yeah. I didn't like this pick not because of Tank, who I think did okay for an Auburn team that wasn't great. I don't like it for Travis Etienne. I feel like he's going to eat into some ATM time. And Daddy like ATM time. You know what I mean?
Everyone likes their ATMs.
Yes. I don't know a lot of people who don't like ATMs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not good news for Travis Etienne. It makes you feel like they're looking for a Thunder and Lightning type running back group, and that just cuts into the touches for Etienne.
Yep, I don't like committees.
But maybe, John, this opens it up for them to throw the ball to Etienne a lot more because he only caught 2 or 3 passes every single freaking game, John. You waited for that 5 or 6 reception game, and it never happened.
Yeah. I don't like it.
All right. I'm gonna skip down a little just because we're running out of time, and some of these guys are, they're just kind of names. They're not.
I do want to speak to one. I think Darnell Washington, the tight end out of Georgia for the Steelers, I think that guy's a steal.
Okay.
I think that guy should have gone in the second round. And I saw him play a little bit with Georgia, and I thought he was fantastic, and I think they got a steal.
Okay, in round 4, we touched on Rasheed Johnson. Like I said, if Bijan wasn't in Texas, Rasheed Johnson might be the best running back in the class. So super excited for the Bears. We'll see what comes out of there. And let's talk about Stetson Bennett. I was surprised how late he went in this draft. I mean, this guy
don't like him.
They don't, and he's a really accurate quarterback. I don't understand it. He does go to the Rams, so good for them. Out of Georgia.
2 championships in a row. With
2
Georgia.
in a row. And he kind of like Drew Brees in a way, like just super accurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drew Brees is a really fantastic comparison. And what I feel like will be his career in the NFL. I think Stetson Bennett's going to end up being a really great pro quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's going to be pretty good.
Nobody thought Drew Brees was going to be a superstar coming out of Purdue.
No, they did not, including myself.
Yeah. So,
all right. Talk to me about Charlie Jones because he went to your Bengals. He's from Purdue. Tell me what you like.
This guy's got some size. He's got some speed. He's got some giddy up to him. Runs the entire route tree. He's going to be Tyler Boyd when Tyler Boyd moves on.
All right. On to round 5, real quick. We have Israel Abunaconda out of Pittsburgh. He went to the Jets. He went to the Jets. Sorry, I apologize. Now, if Breece Hall isn't healthy, I like him. I like him a lot. But if Breece Hall is healthy, then he's just a guy. Just a guy.
Yeah, a little bit of a waste draft pick to me.
Yeah, maybe so.
Special teams guy.
Yeah, probably. All right. Anyone else in the 5th round you like, John?
Titans drafted a tight end out of Cincinnati that's not bad. Kind of a sneaky under the radar guy. Here's a weird thing for me. Like in the 5th round, Green Bay took Sean Clifford out of Penn State. Sean Clifford was a pretty prolific quarterback there at Penn State. Mm-hmm. That's one of those where you don't think about, right? It's like, Green Bay drafted a backup quarterback developmental guy. Jordan Love is far from established. And so I don't think that was a dumb move to get a rookie. I mean, you're taking a 5th round draft on him, but he's got upside. He's got skills. So
little insurance there.
Yeah, I like it.
I just want to mention for the Rams, they got Puka Nacua out of BYU. I just like his name. I love his name.
Yeah. The Bengals got Chase Brown out of Illinois too as a running back.
Yeah.
Which I like that. I like that pick.
All right. We're going to move on to the 6th round. How about Kayshon Boutte out of LSU? Wide receiver. He went to the Patriots. Finally pick a receiver in the 6th round, and they got Boutte.
Yeah.
Which is what they've had at wide receiver for the last 4 years. Just Boutte.
Feels like they just draft Boutte every year.
Do we like Boutte at all for the Patriots?
I don't know enough about him. He didn't really make a big splash in the receiver pool this year when you looked at any of the articles. So I don't know. Yeah, he played in the SEC. Couldn't be horrible.
How about Zach Evans from Ole Miss, running back? He's on the Rams. He's a little insurance for Akers.
Yeah, productive kid. I like any running back that gets drafted by the Rams because I don't like the running backs on the Rams. So kid's got a shot.
Yeah. All right, and then on to the 7th round. There's just one guy I really want to talk about, and that's Max Dugan out of TCU. I saw him play a few times. He's a pretty good quarterback. He goes to the Chargers. So long term, he's probably going to sit. He's probably just going to be a backup for his career. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't end up in the best place. Yeah.
But, again,
I wanted to see him go to a team where he might get a chance to play a little bit and see what he's got. Because he was really good at TCU at times. He was.
And he's an interesting story, right? He wasn't even supposed to start last year, and then he led him to the playoffs. So
he's
a kid you like to root for. He throws a nice ball. He's tough. He's gritty. Probably, you're right. He's probably going to die on the bench in San Diego or Los Angeles. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of reminds me of like a Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just not. The tools, they're just okay. Like he's accurate. He can throw if you give him a pocket.
Yeah.
If you make him scramble, it's kind of over, right?
Like if you put him in a Shanahan system, he'd probably do pretty well because it doesn't seem to matter what quarterback plays in the Shanahan system.
Yeah, exactly. All right, John. So we got to wrap up the draft.
It's so fast.
It's
fast. It's possible.
Yeah. Next week we're going to start doing our rankings, John. So that's when it gets exciting, Johnny.
I like it a lot. Oh, we're starting to get ready for the season now, Chuck. Now we got all the preliminary bullshit out of the way, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we got the schedule that's coming out tomorrow. We already know who's playing who. It doesn't really matter when they play. Mm-hmm. Does it?
I'd like to know who's playing opening day and stuff. That's exciting. You gear up for the first week, but yeah, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter.
No. I mean, it was cool to find out that on week 17, the Bengals and the Chiefs are going to play.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
You know what else? They're probably going to play in the AFC Championship. So that'll be fun, too.
Yeah, so they'll play, and then they'll play again 3 weeks later.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, John. I would like to thank Jonathan Ballgame.
Jonathan W. Ballgame the third, if you don't mind.
Correction, right. Jonathan Wesley Ballgame the third. John, thanks again. You really pulled through on this show. I mean, you carried us, man, with all your knowledge on all these draft picks.
Dude. Thank you. Oh, it was fun. You know what we should do? This show again next week.
We should do that. And if you want to see that, you probably want to just hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell.
Subscribe.
Throw a comment. Give us 5-star ratings on the Apple Podcast.
You want to throw a couple of points our way? We'll take that too.
Hey.
Sorry. Wedding crashers.
All right. We will see you next week.
Peace.
Aloha.
Aloha.